Yeah, see you next time. Bye then.
Oh, well, I'm glad that's over. Long meeting. Are you heading to the car park?
Yeah, I am. You?
Oh, fabulous. I'll walk with you then. Michelle, social work, team manager. Just started last week. That's why I didn't say anything in the meeting today. I haven't got a clue what was going on. It's Steve, isn't it?
Yeah, Steve. Community police officer. Just started.
Oh, not as a social worker, but how kind of you to say so. No, I've been in social work about 20 years. I just started here last week.
I see.
I get a bit nervous about walking to car parks by myself after a certain time.
Well, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, I know, but, well...
I'm sure you'd be quite safe, but if it makes you feel less nervous, I'm happy to walk with you.
Well, it's always good to have a policeman by your side, that's what I say.
I see.
Sandra, that's my best friend from when we were at school. Sandra says I'm incorrigible, but she's a hairdresser, so I don't think she really knows what incorrigible means.
Well, I don't know if that's very fair on hairdressers.
Oh, well, you don't know Sandra. I have a feeling she means incurable. I think she mistyped it once and the autocue corrected it for her, and she's just stuck to using it as an insult ever since.
Incurable.
Oh, they see all sorts to hairdressers. You won't believe some of the stories she tells me.
I think perhaps she does mean incorrigible.
She's always watching all them real-life documentaries, Brits Abroad, 999, Ambulance, Knives with Wives, all that sort of stuff. She says that she watches them so she can talk to me about my work. Well, so she says.
It's nice she takes an interest.
Oh, but I think she just likes the drama of it all. In fact, she thinks that Casualty and Alby City, which are actual dramas, are documentaries and all. I keep telling her they just pretend, but she won't have it. Shell, she says. She calls me Shell and I call her San from when we were at school. Shell, she says, Shell, is your job like that? Do you get to meet with doctors and firemen at everything, at conferences and handovers and multinational meetings and everything? I keep telling her, I say, San, I say, it's multi-agency. But she won't have that either.
I see.
In fact, I don't think they even show those meetings on Casualty in Alby City. Oh, but what do I know? I'm more an EastEnders and Coronation Street girl myself. Oh, I've just realised.
You have?
Sandra's going to love this. She watches all the soaps as well as all the documentaries. Are you a Corrie fan at all?
No, not really. My wife, she...
Oh, they all say that. I bet you are.
No, really, I'm not.
Oh, Steve and Michelle.
Steve and Michelle.
Steve and Michelle. They were a couple on Corrie. Well, everyone's a couple on Corrie at some point, aren't they, before they split up, get together with someone else and then get back together again as the first couple, along with the odd murderer and a few jail sentences along the way. Well, Steve and Michelle, she gets called Shell and all like me, they were a couple, then they split up because Steve had an affair and then a baby with someone called Our Leanne. So Michelle got together with someone called Robert. He had been going to marry Tracy. She murdered one of her exes. And, well, now... Oh, well, never mind, but Sandra's going to love it that I walked to my car with a Steve and Michelle.
Sorry, I really need to take this.
Okay. Just keep your voice calm, Michelle. Keep it light-hearted. It's nobody else's business what happened. Just keep talking about stuff. Any stuff, it don't matter what. You might think I'm going on, talking nonsense, but it don't matter. I just need him to walk me to my car without noticing how anxious I am. God, I hate this. Years I spent just looking after the best interests of my clients, trying to help them with whatever they needed help with, and then that happened. 5 months on, I feel no better. Still having nightmares, still avoiding walking anywhere at all on my own if I can possibly help it. It's getting ridiculous. A 5-minute walk from my car to the meeting today and I'm shaking, sweating, feeling sick. I nearly drove off when I got to the car park. Lucky I saw Janice getting out of her car, so I was able to get out of mine quick and walk with her. And her none the wiser that I didn't actually want to catch up. I just needed someone, anyone, to walk with me. I still see them sometimes. Oh, not in real life, of course. I've avoided that place altogether since, and now that I've moved areas, hopefully I'll never have to go back there again, but the group of them suddenly flashed before my eyes, there, then gone, and it doesn't matter where I am. They can come at any time. I used to actually give a little scream when it first started happening, but I've learned to control that now. I mean, can you imagine the embarrassment of being at the self-service checkout in Tesco, turning round and being confronted by a gang of menacing 15-year-olds, most of them bigger than you, letting out a deafening yell and watching them disappear before your very eyes? All the other customers turning to stare at you, a couple of staff members starting to move cautiously towards you in case you're dangerous and about to attack those other customers who by this time have lost all interest and gone back to checking out their shopping. Well, I can tell you, it's very embarrassing.
Is everything all right?
That was a bigger member of staff. About 8 foot tall, looked like a wrestler or something, like that Tyson Furious. I suppose that's policy, sending the big scary man to deal with a little dangerous woman. Yes, I'm fine, thank you, I said. After all, I wasn't going to stand in the middle of a supermarket and tell a stranger something I hadn't told anyone else. That a few days before this embarrassing little Tesco scene, I'd been followed back to my car from a visit, threatened and stolen from by a gang of teenage girls. And that one of those girls' mothers was one of my own caseloads. I'm too embarrassed and ashamed to tell anyone or go to the police like I know I should. After all, they only threatened me. They didn't actually attack me or hurt me physically. And the mother of one of the girls in the gang, well, she's got enough to contend with at the moment, what with her youngest son's autism and problems at school and her just having been diagnosed with cancer on top of all her other issues. I just don't think I can drop something else on her at the moment. And they only took my purse, not my bag, and there were no cash in it, only cards, so I was able to cancel them straight away. Oh, and my car keys, of course, but, well, they didn't try and steal my car or anything, so I was able to make out I'd been careless and lost both keys and cards. I mean, what were one more little bit of humiliation? Everyone thinking I'm a complete ditz, along with being terrified by a group of children. The kind of children I come across all the time, and having to call one of my friends to come and give me a lift home. They didn't even bother with me mobile, the girls. They demanded it, and then when I handed it over, they laughed, compared it unfavourably with their own, and tossed it back to me. I just need to get back to my car, and I'll be okay.
Sorry about that. I'm sure my wife's up to date with it all.
Sorry?
Steve and Michelle? Coronation Street, all the marriages, affairs, murders.
That's just on a good night. You should try watching it when they have a cliffhanging storyline. Bring back Jack and Vera, that's what I say. So, you back to the beat now?
Yeah, I'm still on duty, yeah.
Were you at the meeting for anything in particular?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact.
Are they always that long, the meetings?
Well, they're usually a couple of hours. There's always a lot to get through.
Seemed long to me. Were you there for anything in particular?
Well, that's the thing, as I was saying. I did want to raise something I'm concerned about, but well, it's tricky.
Tricky?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to break confidentiality, but at the same time, I'm worried about someone's safety.
Well, where's the trickiness in that?
What do you mean?
Well, you're a policeman, aren't you? Are they breaking the law, this person?
Oh, no, they're not.
Well then.
Well then.
Well, if they're breaking the law, that's your job, isn't it? To do whatever needs doing. If not, just hand it over to whoever's job it is. There was enough of them in that room today. Somebody must be able to take it on.
I don't know if it's that easy.
Oh, look, I know there's all this talk of multi-agency. I wish Sandra would get it right. I keep telling her, but she won't listen. But we all know that when it comes down to it, it just doesn't happen.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, which is exactly
Well, it doesn't happen with me, I can tell you that now. I don't have the time or the energy to be spending hours trying to work out which bits of which person's needs, whose job it is to be dealing with it. Not when it comes down to the nitty-gritty. If someone's at risk or you're worried about your duty of care, well, get the appropriate agency in, get them referred somewhere safe or do whatever's needed, but get it handed over and written up.
Yeah, but what if there are
I'm not having some crisis or tragedy on my conscience and risk losing my job just because Mr. So-and-so don't want to move out of his house and have to have his dog put down, or Mrs. Whoever don't want to have a violent partner moved out or move somewhere else herself just because she don't want to be on her own. We have to protect ourselves as much as them, you know.
I don't know if it's that simple. And anyway, that's not the situation I'm talking about. It's much less cut and dry with who I'm worried about, for a start. There's issues of confidentiality, like I said.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Just tell them you've got to tell your colleagues something you're worried about. It's policy because that's your job, and be done with it.
Well, I'm not sure that's the way to go about it.
Oh, wait. You're not thinking this is a social work case, are you? Because I wouldn't want you dumping a case on us just because the police can't deal with it.
I'm not trying to dump anyone on anyone. I'm just trying to handle the situation in a sensitive way that's best for the person and involve whoever needs to be involved.
Oh, right. Well, good luck with that then.
Look, I need to get back. Shall I walk you to your car?
Oh, well, since you're offering, why not? Glad I could give you a bit of advice today, Steve, is it? I think this team's going to be very glad to have me. Hopefully, they'll appreciate me more in this one than the one I've just moved from.
Unlikely.